So I'm gonna first go back and create a new feedback activity. And the first thing that we do whenever we're creating a new activity is to turn editing on. We move into the editing mode, and we're in Unit 5 gathering data. So I'm going to add an activity or resource. And you see the feedback there and the questionnaire there. Note that the survey tool is a very specific verified, it provides very specific verified survey instruments that you're not allowed to modify. So that if you want to create your own survey or questionnaire, you have to use either the feedback or the questionnaire activities. And we're going to first do the feedback to see how that works. Note that feedback activities is a module that's actually built into Moodle, whereas questionnaire is a plugin. So I'm going to call this my availability question and submission settings. So this is the first point that you need to check, whether that you want to record the usernames of the people who are submitting, or whether you want to leave it anonymous. If you leave it anonymous, and this is one of the big differences actually between the questionnaire and the feedback, if you leave it anonymous, you can actually make a questionnaire available to anyone, and that is anyone, whether they are part of a course or whether they are just a logged in user on the site, or if they are just someone browsing through the site. Feedback activities can actually be made open to the public, whereas questionnaire activities can only be assigned to people within a course. So that's one important difference. These others, it's up to you. Allow multiple submissions, notifications, order number questions. That's up to you. After submission, it asks you for a customized submission answer, completion answer, and it gives you the opportunity to link someone to another activity, so you can send them, and really you could put any URL there, and then just save and display, and you can go ahead and start entering the questions. Now, note here that it gives you the opportunity of applying templates. So if you had already created some question templates, you could easily just go and drop that template into your feedback activity, and you'd have your survey created. We don't have any feedback template, so we're going to actually have to edit the questions ourselves. And you can actually create, at this point, you can actually create a new template there as well. So let's just go and edit the questions, and this allows you to select any of these types of questions. Note that a label is not actually a question, it's just really a placeholder in which you can put some important information. For example, the questions below refer to this particular passage, or whatever the case might be. So I'm going to first get them to put their name in. So I'm going to put a short text answer. Make that required. Question, first name. I'm going to label that first name. You don't actually have to put the labels in, but I always do. Just it makes it easier to search for fields. It's really the field name for those of you who are familiar with databases, and it's a way to assign an intelligible name to that first question. Text field width is 30. That means you actually see 30 spaces on the screen. Maximum characters accepted. It's important that you adjust this, particularly if you're going to do something like first name, so that you ensure that a sufficient number of characters are available for someone to put in their first name. And I'm going to assume that, we have people with hyphenated first names, so I'm going to put 40 characters. That's more than enough for anyone. Dependence item refers to whether you want this question to depend on any earlier question. Of course, since it is the first item, you're not going to have another dependent item to refer to. Dependence value just means that if you've clicked a dependency, then you actually type the value that should be in. And this is the first question, so its position is 1. Save that question, and you move on to the second question. The question appears right there as you've just put in them. Of course, short text answer is going to be second name, or last name, or surname, whatever. family name, I'm going to put. Again, I'm going to give it 40 surnames, probably even more important to allow sufficient characters, because oftentimes you will have hyphenated surnames. And note now here you can see dependence items now allow you to select a first name because there has been a field entered prior to this question. So first name, surname, another question. I'm going to ask a rated question. So is it required? Yes. Reading. Vertical, and this is what I was saying, you can actually arrange them either vertically or horizontally. I'll leave it as vertical this time. Multiple choice, single answer. Do not analyze. Yeah, I'm not going to analyze empties, and I'm going to hide the not selected option. There always is a option in this format of the user selecting not selected. I'm going to hide that, so they have to select one of these answers. It starts with 0. You can also start it as 1 if you want. So those are my ratings. And dependence item, no dependence item. Save, and notice that they are listed like this, and the score values are indicated in the column there. Finally, let's do a normal multiple choice, just so you can see that question, and I'm not going to make this one required, and this question is going to be multiple choice again, single answer, hide the not selected option again. So those are your 5 answers. Excellent, quite good, average, so terrible. They're sort of ratings again, but just to put some multiple choice in so to show you how they look. And I can put a dependency on this. I'm going to put a rating. Actually, no. In order to put a dependency, you have to actually put a separate page so that page only appears if you have the right dependency. If you don't put the page in, then this question is not going to appear at all. So I'll leave it as no dependence and just save the question, and we can see what the survey looks like. There it is. 1 is a rating, 1 is just a straight multiple choice question, and that's it for your quiz. When the students submit it, they'll get the message that we put in, and then you will see their results come up as under show responses, or you can see them under a summary analysis. So that's a feedback activity. In the next video, we'll look at the questionnaire activity and look at some of the similarities and differences between the two. Hope this helps.